This is Inspired Wellness with Jessica, a safe space for women impacted by their emotions to unlock hope and discover ways to elevate emotional wellness holistically for long-term health and well-being. I am your host, Jessica, advanced EFT practitioner, holistic counselor, meditation therapist, and advanced life coach. Join me for real, raw conversations to educate and inspire you to take control of your emotional well-being. I am so grateful you are here with me. Let's dive straight in.
Today on the show, we're going to be talking about self-acceptance. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to say the words, I love and accept myself. Go and say it. Out loud, say it. I love and accept myself. Can you say it? So for a lot of us, being able to say, I love and accept myself is an extremely foreign concept. And so if you feel like this is something that you can't say, you won't say, you've never even considered saying about yourself, then stay tuned into this episode because I'm going to leave you with some thoughts to ponder and some tools to overcome this as well. So just when you say it, the first thing I want you to do is just notice. Just notice. How do you feel in your body when you say, I love and accept myself? Is there a story that comes up for you as you are saying this? This story might sound something like, well, I will love and accept myself when I earn enough money, when I am well, when I lose X amount of kilos or get rid of the cellulite on my legs. I will when I am in a relationship, when I feel this, when I achieve this new job. Does your story sound anything like that? The conditions on your happiness, the conditions on your ability to be able to accept who you are and how you are and be present in your life. What conditions are you putting on yourself? Those are your stories. The first thing I want you to do if you are putting these kinds of conditions on your ability to toy with the idea that you can accept yourself. The first thing I want you to do is to acknowledge that these stories aren't going to actually make you happy. Because if you are waiting for something else, something external to make you happy, then you are always going to be waiting for something external to make you happy. Self-acceptance is a process. It is not something that happens quickly. It is not something that you can just magically go, okay, well, I've actually treated myself like rubbish for the last 35 years, but today I'm going to wake up and love myself now. And that's probably why when you say, I love and accept myself, it feels quite uncomfortable. Because that concept, as I said before, is foreign. Because we are constantly looking for ways to improve ourselves. Whether it be having to lose weight, whether it be, being really uncomfortable with our appearance, whether we need, we think we need the Botox injections or we need the Stairmaster to feel good about ourselves, whatever it may be, or maybe we're relying on other people's opinions. Okay, I'll feel good about myself when my husband says that he accepts me or when I am in a loving relationship. You can't wait for those things. You just can't wait for those things. Self-acceptance is step one. And as this falls into place, as this begins to really feel natural for you, other things are going to fall into place for you too. And also, you'll probably find a lot less stress and anxiety because as you learn to accept yourself for how you are and who you are, you're not fighting everything. Changes can happen, easily, freely. Things can flow better. So take a moment just to ponder your story. If you do have like a journal or something near you, write down. Pause me and write it down. What is the story? What are the conditions that you're putting on your ability to accept yourself? What is stopping you in your mind? And I know it seems very, very real, but what do you perceive is stopping you from accepting yourself? And I want to ask you, I'm just going to throw this thought out there. What if your inability to accept yourself for who you are and for how you are and for what your life is right now, be it horrible in your eyes, or be it the life that you've always dreamed of? What if your inability to accept yourself has actually been holding you back from healing, holding you back from letting go of trauma or stories, beliefs that no longer serve you? What if it is holding you back from your dream job or from your health goals? What if it is holding you back from moving forward with your life? Studies show that if we cannot accept that something has happened or that we are in a certain situation or that we are how we are, that things are how it is, if we cannot accept it, if we don't have acceptance, then we can't heal and we can't change, we can't grow, and we can't let things go. Because when we are not accepting, we are fighting. It is coming all from a place of fear. Acceptance is a fantastic mindfulness tool, and I love it particularly when working with anxiety. Because when we are sitting in a place of accepting and we are sitting in a place of observing, then we are not fighting the things that we perceive are wrong with us. And when we are not fighting it, when we don't have that fighting mentality, then we are not in that place of stress, that mental stress where you're, trying to change every little thing, especially the things that are actually out of your control. And that then puts you into a physical state of stress. And, we've spoken about it on so many episodes. What happens to your body when you're in a physical state of stress? See, I can bring everything back to the stress response. Everything I can bring back. But do you see what I'm saying? If you are fighting rather than accepting, then it is not good for your body. You're not creating a healthy environment within your mind and your body. I want you to think about something for a moment. Something that you are uncomfortable with. Okay, maybe it might be an anxiety symptom or something you're stressed about, or just something that you have spent the last hour of your life trying to change. And I want you to observe it. This is your homework when you get off this podcast. I want you to observe it. And I want you to just notice it. And I want you to practice saying, I accept that this is happening. I accept this is happening. I accept this for how it is, or I accept this person for how it is, or I accept this perceived flaw of mine for what it is. And just notice how it feels in your body to not be fighting that anymore. Notice the peace that comes with not trying desperately to change something. And this completely applies to yourself as well. Notice the peace. If you are able to say, okay, I accept my stomach because it has just had 2 babies. I accept it for what it is now. I accept that this is how things are now. And knowing, I think a lot of people have a problem with acceptance because there's more fear that you're actually just rolling over and saying, okay, well, I accept it, so this is how it is and it will never change. No. Acceptance doesn't mean that. Acceptance of a moment is about not fighting it. It is about saying that you no longer allow this moment, this event, this thought, this perceived imperfection, this person, this trauma to have power over you anymore. Okay? It's not saying, and I approve of what he, she, they, I did. It is saying, I accept that this has happened. Because let's face it, if you are standing there and you're staring in the mirror and you're completely unhappy with your body, not accepting it isn't going to change the fact that you are where you are right now. Okay? Not accepting that something traumatic has happened to you, or not accepting that a person, is out of your control, because every person is actually out of your control. Not accepting those things isn't going to change how things are right now. So if you can come at your problems, your perceived imperfections, if you can come at your life from a place of acceptance, from a place of really utilizing all of the mindfulness principles, okay? Acceptance, observation, compassion, no judgment. If you can come at your life from that space, and again, this takes practice. We're not going to wake up tomorrow and say, oh, yes. But, or you might, but, not likely if you've had long-term stories going on. You need to identify those stories and you need to be able to consciously choose to change them, bring them into your conscious mind. Become aware of what they are. Awareness is also a really amazing mindfulness tool. Become aware of what your stories are. Become aware of what your beliefs are. Become aware of the reasons why you've been holding on to this inability to love and accept yourself. Become aware of the conditions that you're putting on your life. And then you have the conscious ability to change that. And if you would like to speed up that process, then you can use a tool like EFT tapping, which, as you know, I'm an advanced practitioner, so I love EFT. You can use a tool such as tapping to release the emotional intensity behind those thoughts so that we can then reprogram them with a belief or a statement or a story that is actually going to serve your purpose now, that is going to serve where you are now and who you are now. So if you have no idea how to tap, I do have a free beginner's guide that I will link in the show notes here so you can get started straight away at home. So you could use something like that, and also journaling processes and other things that I teach in Thrive as well that, you can utilize every day to overcome these. Now I'm kind of rambling a little bit. Where I was going with this is that imagine if you were able to come at these perceived imperfections and these problems from a place of acceptance, a place of calm, a place of love and compassion. And just imagine how much further you are likely to go in your health journey, in your business goals, in your, career steps, in your relationships, in your relationship with yourself. How much more things are going to flow when you are coming from a frequency of love and compassion and acceptance, rather than that frequency of fear, stress, of unacceptance, of that having to change everything. Just imagine how good that must feel. And know that that is completely possible for you. Because at the very beginning of this episode, you became aware of the conditions you were putting on your life. You became aware of all of the stories, or not all of, but some of whatever story has come into your head now. You've become aware of a story that is stopping you from accepting yourself. And now, if you are ready to begin to say those words, okay, I love and accept myself, you can start easier. Okay, you don't have to say love if you're not ready. I accept that I feel this way. So if you've ever done any EFT tapping, then you will know that we start with a setup statement at the beginning that is a statement of acceptance. We are tapping on our karate chop point and we are saying, which is on the side of the hand if you've never tapped before, and we are saying, even though I have this problem, okay, even though I'm stressed, even though I'm anxious, even though I don't like the way that I look, even though I didn't get that job, I accept myself anyway. And just start, you don't have to start by saying, I love and accept myself, or I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Just start by saying, I accept that this happened. I accept that this is happening. I accept it. Okay, I accept it. I no longer allow this to have power in my life, is what you are saying when you say, I accept this. And when you're ready, you can say, I accept myself anyway. Even though I have this problem, I accept myself anyway. And when you're ready, you can say, even though I have this problem, I love and accept myself anyway. And that's my challenge to you over the next week, between now and next week's podcast. I want you to just tap on your karate chop. Okay, just tap on that squishy part on the side of your hand. Again, if you don't know where it is, grab my free beginner's guide. Tap on your karate chop and just practice saying, even though I have trouble accepting myself, or I have trouble loving myself, I choose to accept that I feel this way. That's your homework. I'm going to put it in the show notes. Even though I have trouble accepting myself, I choose to accept that I feel this way. And keep doing that while you're tapping on that karate chop, because as you do that, the more you do that, that emotional intensity that you have, that discomfort, that resistance, that hesitation to say those words, that awkwardness is going to release. And as you go and you identify those stories and you identify those beliefs and you identify those, reasons that your mind has been giving you all this time to tell you that you're not allowed to actually accept yourself now for who you are because you're not perfect in your mind and your definition of perfect. As you start to thank those stories and allow them, give them permission to change, give them permission to release, work on them with EFT, find some other kind of practitioner that you want to work with, journal things out, consciously choose to change your story. You're going to find that not only will you not have the resistance to say, I love and accept myself, but you're actually going to have the feeling that you actually do truly accept yourself for who and how you are right now. And then as you begin to experience those changes that you do want to make, because again, you're not saying I accept myself so nothing will ever change. As you begin to experience those changes that you are making coming from a place of love and compassion and a place of acceptance with no judgment and no negativity and no fear, when you notice how that change is so positively impacting your life, then that love and self-acceptance is also going to become a lot easier. If you have any questions about today's episode, I would love to hear them. So please pop them either in the comments if you have comments on the platform that you're listening on, or reach out to me via Instagram. I will link that in my show notes. It's at inspiredlife.byjessicaann. or send me an email, which I'll also pop in the notes as well. And until next week, I will talk to you then. I hope you have an amazing week and go off and do that self-acceptance homework. I would love to know how you go.
Thank you for listening to Inspired Wellness with Jessica. If you enjoyed and found value in today's episode, then please help it to reach others who may also benefit by subscribing on your favorite platform and leaving a review. This would mean the world to me. To get in touch with me, inquire about working privately, or experience one of my online programs, then head to www.inspiredlifecollective.com.au, and I will see you on the next episode.